We're going to be making a fidget today with a size H hook. This is two-handed fidget, so it's a little bit bigger than our pocket or little single-handed fidget. Still using the round wood beads. These ones are, this one here is a bigger version of what we're going to be making. These are our mini ones. This is going to be a size in between these two. So I'm not a fan of how big these ones turned out. You can see the another one of the other videos for our mini one here. Alright, so if you want to secure your bead with into the fidget, you're going to wrap your yarn around your hand about twice. That should give you enough of a tail before you do your slip knot. So you're going to start the slip knot, and then you're going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this will be how long this one is. And then you're going to chain 1 before we start our next row. So it'll be 15 single crochets in row 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 'cause I want my tail to move up with me, I'm going to flip my tail over my working yarn before I do my chain up to my next row. That's me 15 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And chain 1 and turn and rotate. And 15 single crochets across. And this one, I'm going to bring my tail over before I do my last single crochet. And chain 1 and rotate. Another 15 single crochets. A chain and a flip. Another 15 single crochets. And a chain and a flip. Another 15 single crochets. Chain and a flip. Another 15 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, chain 1 and flip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then one more row. Oops. So chain 1, flip, last row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now this next step, you can, no one wants your tail in the, hey, no one wants your tail in the camera. This next step you can skip if you don't want to secure your bead. If you have a needle, you can thread it. If not, just thread your bead. I'm using the 24 count of the round beads from Dollar Tree. You make sure you want to do this flat, because if you do it too tight, it will make your thing wonky. So I'm just going to follow the stitch down that's attached to. Tack it down the other end. Make sure there's a little bit of slack so that way it doesn't pull on it. Tack it down, and then I like to run it through twice. Again, don't make sure you don't pull, because otherwise it will get wonky. If anything, it's better to have too much slack than not enough. And I'm going to tack it down here. Loop it, oops, see, like that, I just pulled it. Loop it through once or twice. And then you can go and weave your ends, whatever way you prefer. I myself like going back and forth a couple times. And then for this particular project, well, all projects, I had to run them down a line. And this one, since it's something I'm closing up, I will do it on the inside. If it's a hat or beanie, I'll do it on the inside of that. I do it where, you know, if it happens to poke out or something, it's where it's least likely to be noticeable. Now I go back to my working yarn where I didn't cut. And you're going to slip stitch it to the center. Should be 5 stitches, or you can fold it over. Or if it's easier, you can cut it and tighten your ends and then start with a fresh piece of yarn and work your way around. You can crochet around the edge in whatever stitch you like. These other ones I've made. This one I did I believe I did this one single crochet, whereas this one I did slip stitch. This one was half double, I believe. I think this one was single crochet as well. You can also get fancy and do a border crochet stitch if you want around it. I find it's easier if you push the the bead away where you're working, so it's out of your way. If you're not using a bead, using a marble, stitch up 2 of the 3 sides first, then put the marble in, shove it all the way down to the other end, and stitch up the last side, however which way you want to stitch. So this particular way, I'm going to slip stitch it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can always check to see if I got the center. So chain stitch to get out of this, the inside. And I fold it over, I move my bead out of the way, and I go into my work. The fold's always the weirdest part, just because you get these like half stitches. Some people will prefer to sew them shut with the needle instead. So this one I'm just going to do a single crochet around the edge. And you got to be careful when you get to the corners, and I'll show you once I get there. You can be precise about your stitching if you'd like, and go make sure you get every single one. But for me, this yarn, because it's got that weird shine to it with the light, especially the spot, the well, the light from the camera. So it's not flashy. I'm not sure if it's considered a flash or not. Alright, so I'm going to do my corner stitch, which will be this one right here, and this one right here. So I'm going to go into it once, then I'm going to chain and go back into it. Gives it a nice little bit of a cleaner stitch. And then going down the side is a lot easier than going down the top, because you have more regular shaped stitches. You could also, before you fold it, you can do a single crochet stitch around the entire thing, so that way you have nice even stitches to work on if you choose. They will kind of create a more of a border to it. And for lack of a better term, I would say it would make it look a little bit more like a Pop-Tart to me, with how the border would create. Or you got the kind of frosting, and you got that, you know, the non-frosted edge. Alright, so I'm going to move the bead back down out of my way. And I'm going to continue on. This is actually a really pretty purple. I'm not a big purple fan, but this is like a plum crazy purple, if you know that color. And it's got like a, almost like metallic sheen to it. Doesn't really pick up so much in the camera. It's another one of my yarns that has no tag, so I have no idea what brand or where it came from. So I'm at the corner again. I'm going to go one into the corner, chain, another one back into that corner. This gives it a little more crisp, but this is going to be fidgeted. It's going to be deformed after a while. You mess with it, it's going to lose its shape. It's going to get stretched out as you pull and twist it and whatever. Just the nature of how these are. But they're great. They're quiet. They fit in your pocket. And I will chain one, cut it, pull it through, and then I'll weave in my end. If you have a specific way you like to weave in your ends, you can do it that way. Oops, I could thread my needle. I myself like to go back and forth a few times. And you can also, if you wanted to create more of an edge, go down your folded side instead of having the roundness of the folded side with the crochet stitch as well. I'm going to go down the thing. And there you have a little bit bigger pocket, a little bit bigger two-handed fidget. You can still use this one in one hand. Just it's a little easier with two hands compared to our smaller one that's much easier for one hand.